So we're going to talk about consecutive odd and even integers as we represent them with variables. So first we need to look at just what odd and even integers are and how they relate to each other. So we'll start with the even ones. So you know if you make a list of even numbers, that's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, etc. and so forth. Well, I can represent this by saying, well, the first one is 2, obviously. Then the one I'm going to look at is, well, how do I get from 2 to 4? Well, I take 2, and 2 plus 2 would give me 4. Well, I want to write the next one, the third one, in terms of 2. So if I take 2, what do I need to add on to it to get 6? So that would be 2 plus 4 gives me 6. And I can continue in this pattern. What do I add to 2 to get 8? That's 2 plus 6 gives me 8. What do I add to 2 to get 10? 2 plus 8 gives me 10. I want to follow this pattern when I'm expressing this in terms of variables. So let's say my first one is x. So if my first consecutive even integer is x, the next one following the same pattern would be x plus 2. Because if x were 2, 2 plus 2 would give me 4. The next one I have is x plus 4, x plus 6, x plus 8, and I can continue in this pattern. So this would be my first in a series of consecutive even integers. This would be my second, third, fourth, and so on. So if I wanted to sum the first 3 consecutive even integers, I would have this would be my first, plus my second, and then this would be my third. So at this point it is just combining like terms. So x plus x plus x, that gives me 3x, and then adding on the 6 at the end. So we want to do something similar when we're adding consecutive odd integers. So we're looking at the odd integers now. So I want to make a list of odd integers just to see what the pattern is. So my odd integers are 1, 3, 5, 7, and the pattern continues. So I want to repeat what I did before. My first consecutive odd integer, at least in this list, is 1. Then I say, okay, my second one, how do I get from 1 to 3? 1 plus 2 gives me 3. I want to do the same thing for the third one. So I have 1. What plus 1 gives me 5? 1 plus 4 gives me 5. Fourth one, I have 1 plus 6 gives me 7. I can continue this pattern. So if I want to represent the consecutive odd integers using variables, let's say my first one is x. So how do I write my second one? I have x, well up here it would be x plus 2. So my second consecutive odd integer would be x plus 2. I will continue this pattern, x plus 4, x plus 6. So if you notice, representing algebraically the odd and even integers is actually the same. If you think about it, it kind of makes sense. The odd integers are 2 apart. The even integers are also 2 apart. The only way this works out in terms of an equation is that when I add together 2 consecutive odd integers and I get a certain sum, it just will work out the way I expect it to be. So let's say I want to have a sum of the first 3 consecutive odd integers. It'll be the same as the first 3 consecutive even integers. So this would be 3x plus